Throughout the years, Minecraft has had many game-changing updates that have slowly but surely created the Minecraft that we know today. With each update, new blocks, mobs, and more have upgraded the Minecraft experience in many different ways. So today I wanted to take a little trip down memory lane and pick out the best feature in every Minecraft update, from the official release of 1.0 to the latest sneak peeks in 1.20. But before we get into it, I want to mention that less than half of my viewers are actually subscribed to my channel. This means that you are most likely not a subscriber. Don't be that guy, subscribe today, and I really appreciate it, so thanks for helping me out. Also, this whole video is entirely my opinion. I feel like everyone already knows that when it comes to videos like this, but that's not going to stop a wave of angry comments when I insult someone's favorite Minecraft update. So if your opinion is different from mine, let me know what you think is the best part of these updates in the comments section. This list is going to be made for major updates of Minecraft Java Edition, starting from Minecraft 1.0, 1.1, etc. up to 1.20. And for each major update, any subversion is fair game, so the 1.16 update includes 1.16.1, 1.16.2, and so on, which will be important later. With those logistics out of the way, let's start things off with the official release of Minecraft the video game, Minecraft 1.0. Now, for the first official update of Minecraft, it seems easy to just say the entire game as the best part, but as some of you might know, 1.0 was not actually the first version of Minecraft. Before the game's official release, there were more than 2 years of alpha and beta tests that turned this into this. In fact, if you go back and play the last version of the beta, you'll be surprised at how finalized the game is. What made this version deserve the official release of Minecraft? Well, it was the first official update that added the end dimension, which meant the game now had a final boss, and, well, an end. Haha. See what I did there? Anyway, so for the first version on this list, I gotta give it to the entire end dimension. I mean, it's such a symbolic place for not just Minecraft, but video games in general. And the Ender Dragon fight gave survival players a goalpost to finish the game. Because of its notoriety, I believe that the end is a perfect nomination for the best part of Minecraft 1.0. Although hardcore mode, enchanting, and a lot of other add-ons are definitely worthy of an honorable mention. Next, we've got 1.1, and this update doesn't have an official name, which makes sense to be honest, because compared to 1.0, this update did not do much. There's a couple cool things like super flat worlds, mob spawn eggs, and beaches, and those are probably the only things that this update gets associated with. But one add-on that kind of gets overlooked, and what I believe to be the best part this update brought, are bow enchantments. Specifically, Power, Punch, Flame, and Infinity. Without these, I can't imagine that bows would be that interesting, but these enchantments bring a lot to the table. If you've ever bow boosted yourself with Punch 2 before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And of course, Infinity, Power, and Flame all make this weapon extremely lethal and useful. While this update didn't do as much as 1.0 did, I do think that these enchantments are a pretty great Minecraft feature. 1.2, sometimes referred to as the Biomes update, was also kind of scarce. In fact, I don't really know why they call it the Biomes update when it should be called the Biome update, since the only biome it added was the jungle, which is not my personal favorite. It also added ocelots, which are pretty cool, but my pick for the best of this update has to go to the other mob that was added, the Iron Golem. These guys are super great for a lot of reasons. They protect you and villages from hostile mobs, they're super tanky, having the 5th highest HP in vanilla Minecraft today, and for the speedrunners out there or survival players, they can also be an early source of iron. Some people might consider killing iron golems to be inhumane and horrible, but hey, sometimes I can't turn down my free bucket. Another cool feature is that they're one of 2 mobs that can be built using blocks, so if you have the resources, you can spawn an iron golem wherever and whenever you want. The other one is the snow golem, which compared to the iron golem is nearly useless, and they get snow everywhere. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons to love this guy, and I think that he's the best part of this update. By the way, it might seem like these first few updates have barely anything at all, but you have to remember that in the early phases of the game, a new major update came out every couple of months. So they're not going to have as much content as like Caves and Cliffs, for example. Anyway, 1.3. It doesn't have an official name, but there are some cool things to talk about here. Adventure mode was created, the second to last game mode added to Minecraft, jungle and desert temples spiced up treasure hunting, and ender chests became a useful asset for storing and accessing loot. One new item stood out from the rest though, the emerald. Emerald ore was added to caves and mountain biomes, and it became the hardest mineral to find in the entire overworld, almost 30 times as rare as diamonds. They do get a bad rap a lot of the time though, since they're laughably hard to find and you can't make armor or tools out of them. But they're not useless, because in the same update, villagers were finally given a purpose. trading, which so happens to be my nomination for the best addition. Before this point, other minerals like lapis and gold were not super useful, as this was before enchanting required lapis and the Nether update. So I'm glad that when they added emeralds, they immediately gave them a unique purpose. And trading is super cool. Each villager has a unique profession, offering a variety of possible loot. This also created the trading UI that players use in custom maps and minigames. Although it's not as pivotal as some of the other things on this list, I think trading is a symbolic part of Minecraft that's commonly overlooked, which is why I'm giving it this spot for Minecraft 1.3. 1.4 was called the Pretty Scary update, and it started the streak of every major Minecraft update having a name. 4 new mobs, 3 new food items, and the second boss added to Minecraft, the Wither, which I think is harder to take on than the Ender Dragon. Of course, withers would be useless unless they dropped something that was worthwhile, something that was worth the time and effort to defeat. And boy did they deliver, because the wither drops a nether star, which can be used to craft the best part of this update, the beacon. First, it extended the survival endgame, making it take much longer for players to max out. A fully maxed beacon pyramid requires 1,476 minerals in order to create, which is over 23 stacks. Even with only iron blocks, this is still going to take a lot of time to make, and that's just one beacon. But hey, it's worth it because eternal strength, haste, or jump boost while in its radius can help out with a lot of things. Beacons are also great for decoration. When placed on a pyramid, they create this cascade of light that shoots up into the sky, and you can change the color using stained glass. I like the beacon a lot, even though I've only crafted a couple in survival. It's such a cool block and it's difficult to get. If you like doing redstone, then 1.5 did great things for you. The redstone update added further applications and complexity to redstone contraptions, raising the skill ceiling for this technical side of Minecraft. Now, I'm not the best redstone programmer, which is why you're not going to see the comparator or activator rails at the top, but I know how to do some basic contraptions, like a farming device. If you've ever played Skyblock or an SMP, you know how useful automatic farms are, whether it's for plants, blocks, or mob drops. And one of the greatest redstone additions for farming and other item sorting applications is the hopper, my pick for the best of this update. In my opinion, I think this block is really easy to use, which makes it great for several applications. Even just a hopper over a chest can automatically funnel items without any redstone power required. But there's a ton of other uses: clocks, randomizers, item sorters. I think the fact that this block can be used for both simple and complex situations makes it a great tool for any Minecraft player, not just redstone engineers. 1.6 is formally called the Horse Update, and you guessed it, it brought horses to the game. And yeah, horses are cool and all, but they're not my #1 pick. There's other stuff that's super great, such as carpets, leads, and coal blocks. But there's one item that's often forgotten, and I think is the best part of this update because there are some parts of Minecraft that would be difficult without it. The item I'm talking about is the name tag. I think a lot of people forget about this because you can't craft it, which makes it a pain to acquire in survival. You have to find it in a dungeon chest, and even if you do find one, naming is just a cosmetic thing. Yeah, I'd love to be able to name my dog while playing through a survival world, but it's not like the game is harder without it. On the flip side, maps and servers would have been a lot less immersive if you couldn't add a name tag to custom mobs. Being able to name mobs not only adds a personal touch to your creative world, but increases the opportunities you have to tell a story. While I do love riding on horses, I think the name tag deserves this recognition for how many different applications it has. 1.7 was the update that changed the world. Literally, that's what it was called. And it sure did change the Minecraft world, alright. 14 new biomes with over 20 new variants of biomes, along with many new blocks, the amplified world type, and pufferfish. These new biomes made up 90% of the content in this update, so it's no surprise that I picked one of them. And I've settled on roofed forests, specifically because of dark oak. Personally, I think that dark oak looks the best out of all the wood types, but with cosmetics aside, roofed forests are amazing for getting large amounts of wood. The tree trunks are thick, and there's a lot of them because, well, because it's a forest. Also, roofed forests are the only biomes other than mushroom biomes that have giant mushrooms, and they're a lot more abundant than mushroom biomes too. Like I said in the beginning, this video is all opinions, but I think the roofed forest has ample reason for taking the crown for 1.7. Ah, yes, 1.8, my dear, dear friend. I use you so much because of multiplayer servers, but I never appreciate you for what you actually brought to the table. 1.8 was the Bountiful update, most notable for adding ocean monuments, guardians, rabbits, and doors. Lots of doors. The new blocks and mobs were okay, but they never really stood out to me too much. But remember how I nominated trading for the 1.3 update because it gave emeralds a purpose in Minecraft? Well, 1.8 did a similar thing with a mineral that had been previously used for XP and cosmetics cosmetic purposes only, that being lapis lazuli. Now, after 1.8, every enchantment costs 1, 2, or 3 lapis lazuli. Suddenly, this mineral had an actual use that was necessary for one of the largest components of the game. A lot of people might criticize me for choosing this as the best part of this update. After all, it did make enchanting more complicated. But before 1.8, finding lapis in a cave was arguably worse than finding coal. I'm glad that this ore now has some purpose instead of just being ignored all the time. Alright, time for probably the most controversial update in Minecraft history, the combat update. A lot of people really hate this version because of the changes it brought to PvP, such as attack delay, shields, and axes being the strongest items in the game. But it also had changes that I think a lot of people agree were good for the game. Arrows with special effects, levitation, new end structures in the post-game. Although, no matter how many features I mention, this one isn't going to be even close, because there's one item that outshines not only every part of this update, but many of the other updates as well. And you probably know what it is. It's the Elytra. Possibly the most fun addition to Minecraft's movement, the Elytra is one of the coolest updates in the game's history, allowing players to soar across the skies and travel extreme distances. From simple gliding to shooting through the air at Mach 10 with fireworks, these wings definitely deserve the spot here. There's not much else to say. I think everyone has had fun with this item before, and while it can be hard to get in survival, it's definitely worth acquiring no matter what game mode you're playing. Next up is the Frostburn update 1.10, and this update is most well known for its polar bears and reworks to snowy biomes. But there's also some non-snowy items too, such as fossils and magma blocks that made the terrain in Minecraft much more diverse. I had a hard time coming up with a pick for this update since none of this update's content really stands out too much to me. But eventually I landed on something that, though minor, made playing through the game a lot easier. My best pick for this update is Enderman being able to spawn in the Nether. I know, that sounds super small and irrelevant, but this was kind of a big deal, especially for speedrunners or people trying to beat the game. Remember, this was before the Nether update, and you couldn't trade with piglins for pearls. So the fact that this update now allowed you to farm Eyes of Ender while only being in the Nether made beating the game just a little bit easier. Also, players no longer had to wait for nighttime in the overworld to hunt Endermen, since there's no day-night cycle in the Nether. Overall, my nomination for this update is a very small Minecraft feature, but I couldn't find much else that stood out to me. Remember how I said I liked the roofed forest biome earlier in the video? Well, that biome just got even better with the exploration update, most notable for adding woodland mansions to roofed forest biomes. I gotta say, the woodland mansions are a great addition to the game. They're fun to explore, they're unique, and they offer a great amount of loot. But they're not my pick for the best of this update, because 1.11 also gave shulkers drops for the first time, with shulker shells, and those can be used to craft my nomination for the best of this update, shulker boxes. Storage in Minecraft has always been difficult to manage, and it never seems like you have enough inventory space. Sure, you could put your items into chests, but then you can't move them or carry them with you. Ender chests kind of solve that problem, but you need one every time you want to access your stuff, all for just a chest worth of storage. You know, I find it amazing that they haven't added backpacks to Minecraft after all this time, but that's okay, because we have the next best thing. Shulker boxes, which act as chests that you can carry and move around. Granted, you can't get them until after you beat the Ender Dragon, but once you have them, they make life so much easier. That's why I believe they deserve this spot as best of 1.11. I've never been super big on cosmetic updates in Minecraft, mostly because I'm horrible at building, but if I was good at it, I would love 1.12, the World of Color update. Now, everything in Minecraft had unique colors, from beds to concrete to terracotta. It definitely made building things, especially pixel art, a lot more unlimited. But like I said, I'm terrible at building, so I'm going to choose the next best thing that still has a ton of color variety. Parrots. To me, these mobs have sort of become an icon in the Minecraft community. They like to get down to music, you can carry them around on your shoulder, and they come in many different varieties. So many players like them, myself included, so I think they deserve this spot as best of the World of Color update. We're going back to the ocean for 1.13 and the update Aquatic, which made oceans the super dynamic and beautiful biomes that they are today. The mobs are amazing, we've got dolphins, turtles, and tons of new fish, and coral reefs are definitely up there for some of the prettiest structures in Minecraft. I'll be honest, I was afraid to pick anything other than the turtle or the dolphin, as I know that people in the comments are probably fuming right now. But hey, this update still had a lot to love, and this choice was very difficult. I eventually settled on one of the coolest structures that spices up any Minecraft world. Shipwrecks. I really think Mojang nailed it on the design here. They tell a story and make you want to check them out. And for speedrunners, shipwrecks are infamous for how useful their loot is in beating the game. All in all, I could see myself giving the nomination to many other parts of this update, except for phantoms, but I do think shipwrecks deserve the title for best part of 1.13. 1.14 comes with the Village and Pillage update, which revamped villages in new ways. Lots of new utility blocks were added, scaffolding and bamboo, and also new pillagers and pillager outposts. I want to give an honorable mention to the crossbow, which definitely spiced up the ranged projectile game. Although bows and crossbows are very similar, I like how each has its own pros and cons. Sometimes it's even worth it to carry both of them for their own purposes. But for the best part of this update, I gotta give it to the main course of 1.14, which was the raid feature. If you've never done a raid in survival before, I definitely recommend it. It's almost like tower defense with how you have to defend the village. It's kind of like a villager versus illager civil war with you and the village against witches, ravagers, vindicators, and more. This feature really added to the immersion of Minecraft worlds, which is why it deserves the spotlight for best of 1.14. So far, many of the updates we've covered have added tons of new content, and many of the next updates will do the same, constantly upgrading the Minecraft experience. And then there's 1.15, the Buzzy Bees update. This update added bees and honey, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, gonna be honest, compared to 1.14 and 1.16, the Nether update, 1.15 is kind of like that middle child that's always forgotten. I guess honey blocks are kind of unique, but aside from that, not much of this update changed the game that much. There was one slightly minor change that shows up a lot in current Minecraft playthroughs, and I believe it's the best part of this update. Iron golems now display how much health they have with different damage textures. This can be great to check how much health the golem has if you're killing it, or if you're trying to heal it back up with iron ingots. I also think it's super creative that the iron golem starts cracking as it loses health. Although this was a minor change, I think it has some prevalence in modern Minecraft, and it gets my nomination for the best of 1.15. The Nether update. Boy, do I have mixed feelings with you. You completely changed an entire dimension of Minecraft, adding tons of new mobs, new blocks, and hugely changing the difficulty in how this game is played. If you thought 1.15 was lackluster, with it being just bees and all, the 1.16 series is the complete opposite, being an explosion of content. And as a result, I had a really hard time picking the best part for this one. But as soon as I came across this add-on, I knew I had to pick it. And I think some of you out there will agree with me. No, it's not the addition of netherite, it's not piglin trading and gold becoming more valuable than diamonds, it's not the numerous biomes that were added in the Nether. Those are all really awesome features in this update. But the one update that I settled on was Pigstep. Yep, this music disc in addition to the Minecraft soundtrack may arguably be the most impactful part of this update. It's an icon in gaming culture and almost everybody knows what it is, and it just slaps so hard. No other music disc in Minecraft really gives the same kind of vibe that this one does, and seeing as this was a pivotal part in the 1.16 update, I feel that it's only fair to honor it here. On to the Caves and Cliffs, another very major and very relevant Minecraft update. Now, 1.17 and 1.18 are both classified as the Caves and Cliffs update, so I'm going to do my best to split them up based on what each version actually added. 1.17 primarily focused on the cave side of things, completely revamping the caving system in Minecraft. Ever since the beta, Minecraft caves have mostly remained the same, making them easy for experienced players to route. Naturally, some upgrade was overdue, and boy was it an upgrade. The new Minecraft caves are vastly deeper and bigger than before, making them terrifying and ominous to explore. I think a lot of people like this change. After all, caving should be a daunting and spooky experience, not just some chore. For these reasons, I'm giving the pick for best of 1.17 to the new cave generation. I think that this was a game-changing addition to Minecraft and deserves the spot. I had a couple of honorable mentions like amethysts, axolotls, and the various cave biomes like lush and dripstone caves, but the overall vibe of all the caves in this new update was just too monumental to pass up. You know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know why they had to split two versions across the same update. I mean, they could have just added more versions to 1.17, but I guess Mojang was kind of in a scramble to satisfy their hungry player base during COVID isolation. For that reason, 1.18 released far less than 1.17 did. Most of the stuff that was officially released in 1.18 had already been revealed in 1.17 snapshots, so I'm gonna try and focus on what was actually new in 1.18, which there's not much of. Caves officially started extending as low as Y-64, many new mountain biomes populated the world, and a new Lena Rain music disc was added as well. But since I focused a lot on the caves in 1.17, it's only right to look at the cliffs in 1.18. And 1.18 added possibly my favorite out of the new mountain biomes, the Jagged Peaks biome. I think what makes these peaks stand out to me is how monumental they look from a distance. Like, if you were building your house on the plains and your render distance was high enough to see the jagged peaks in the distance, that is such an amazing sight to have on the horizon. They kind of give off the vibe of man-made mountains that could be used in a custom map, so it's cool to see them as part of the natural world generation. For that, I think they're deserving of the #1 spot in the 1.18 update. We're finally reaching the end, and we've arrived at the latest Minecraft update in early 2023. 1.19 is the wild update, most famous for adding mangrove swamps and the warden. Also, this was the version that added the LA to Minecraft, but I don't consider it to be the best of this update, similar to how I ignored the glow squid during 1.17. The star of the show for this update was definitely the ancient cities though, which gets my pick for the best of 1.19. Like a lot of other ruins in Minecraft, these structures tell a story. They're ominous enough to keep you on the edge, but also curious enough to explore them. I think the design is super unique and fits the vibe, and the warden is kind of like the perfect guardian to defend this area, sort of like the Minotaur from Greek mythology. Also, a Minecraft dungeon that relies on sound as a theme is a really creative idea that hasn't been implemented before. Ancient cities are definitely a great addition and what I believe to be the staple of 1.19. Now this video is coming out in early 2023 and 1.20 hasn't come out yet, so I don't really know what will be the best part about this update. But we have gotten some new snapshots and previews of what's to come, so even though I haven't played on this version yet, I'm gonna give my best guess based on what we have now. Hanging signs are a pretty cool addition to the game. They're gonna make custom-made villages a lot more interactive. The new archaeology that was recently announced seems pretty cool, but at the moment limited. But my favorite so far has to be the cherry blossoms, because goddamn that looks gorgeous. Cherry blossoms are honestly something that should have been added a while ago, and I think it'll be really pretty to see these biomes in action. Well, that just about does it. The best part of every single Minecraft update since release. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making this, even though it was a lot of work. So again, if you liked it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Make sure to let me know what you guys thought about my list in the comments below. And that's pretty much it. My name is Omicron, and thanks for watching the video. Later.